welcome to Auntie's Parenting Tidbits, Life Hacks with a Perfectly Imperfect Parent. Today we're going to discuss temper tantrums, the dreaded temper tantrum. First, let me give you a couple of facts. This I know. Um, First, temper tantrums often are thought to occur in the terrible twos. Not true. Temper tantrums usually start about 1.5 and can go as long as 5 or 6, especially if you have a child who is nonverbal or has problems with speech and they can't verbalize why they're angry. They will resort to temper tantrums to let you know that they're angry, and especially if they can't tell you exactly what they're angry about. Um, Temper tantrums occur in a variety of ways. They can scream, they can yell, they can stomp up the steps, they can headbang, which is my personal least favorite kind, banging their heads on the floor, banging their heads on tables, chairs, desks. They can actually throw themselves on the floor, banging their heads and their legs, screaming, flailing. They can place themselves on the floor, my favorite to watch, flailing their arms and legs. They can scream low, they can scream high, they can start low and get higher in pitch as it goes on. It can go on for a couple of seconds, it can go on for minutes, it can go on for, 30 minutes, an hour. It just depends on your kid. So, ways, I have a couple of ways of dealing with temper tantrums. Some of them are a little harder for parents, especially I, not just parents, caregivers, especially the first one that I'm going to say because it's really hard to listen to your kid cry. But that's my first one is to just let them cry it out, ignore it, hoping that they'll get the message that temper tantrums are not going to get them what they want. It's a hit or miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's really hard not to pick up your kid when they're screaming that loud or to give them what they want just to make it stop. Because, some days you can deal with it, some days you can't. Believe me, I understand. I have a 1-year old that I watch right now that's in the middle of the worst of them, and a 3-year-old that is, he gets in his moments, and sometimes you just want to give him whatever you can to just please stop. Second thing that you can do is tell them, I understand that you have every right to have your emotions and to have your temper tantrums, but I have every right not to hear it. So I'm going to go in another room. And when you're done having your temper tantrums, you come in the room with me and tell me what you really need. And you walk out the room. Usually they'll stop because it's not real fun to have a temper tantrum if the person you're having it for isn't in there. Usually they'll stop and follow you and then kind of forget why they were having a temper tantrum in the first place. So that is my second thing. My third thing is take them out of the room and explain to them again, you have every right to have your feelings and to have your temper tantrum, but I don't want to hear it. So you have your temper tantrum in here, and when you're done, come and join me or come and join us in the other room. You put them in the other room, with the doors open and everything. And when they're done screaming, they'll come in. Usually doesn't take long because, again, it's only fun to have the temper tantrum when they're in the room with you. If it's a child that you're trying to get to talk, an older kid, 3, when they're 2.5-ish, 3, 4, 5, when they're able to talk through their temper tantrum, and it's really one that just makes no sense. Like, my 3-year-old will throw a temper tantrum because the tower of blocks is not as tall as he wants it. Tell them, you have words. You have great words. You get things faster when you use your words. I don't understand crying. So you need to use your words. And if you can't use your words and you're going to cry, the blocks get put in timeout. It's going to make them cry harder. put the blocks or the tool, whatever is making them have this temper tantrum. I want my cup and I'm having a temper tantrum. That thing gets put in timeout that is causing them all this distress. It's going to make them cry harder. And then you tell them that, think again, you have every right to be upset, but you're going to be upset in a different room. When you can come and tell me what it is that you need, then you come in and tell me. But we're not going to have this temper tantrum in the same room as me. You're going to go in and have your temper tantrum somewhere else. And you put them somewhere else. And then when they come back, you tell them, no matter which temper tantrum they're having, make sure you tell them, I love you even when you're being a monkey or even when you're being whatever you call them when they're having a temper tantrum. Or say even when you're having a temper tantrum. Even when you're crying, even when you're being silly. I love you. To let them know that just because you put them in a different room because you didn't want to hear them cry doesn't mean you didn't love them. It means you didn't want to hear them have a temper tantrum. To let them know that this is not acceptable behavior. This is not going to get them what they want. And that in order to get what they want, they need to talk. Crying is not going to get it for them. So those are my suggestions for temper tantrums. I'm going through it a lot lately, so I thought I'd do a quick video on it. I will post another video of me actually putting some of these into practice if I can get my 3-year-old to do it on camera. It's kind of hard because the temper tantrums he has are kind of unexpected. If I can get the 1-year-old to have one on camera, I'll put her up later this week to show you them in practice. But these are my suggestions for temper tantrums. I hope they work. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear them and read them. Um, but I'm off my soapbox and we'll be seeing you. Bye.
Just, just subscribe to my channel.